What is going on, everybody? Six Scale Mafia here. Tales of the Dark Side, episode 33. You know what, guys? I think I'm going to have to alter that now to add some Obi-Wan scenes. But either way, that's definitely a demonetized. So this video will be edited later for those who are watching the replay now. Real quick though, everybody, hey, it's been a couple weeks. Sorry, Dante, you know as well, man. Like I didn't do last week. It feels like forever. So my apologies, everybody, for tuning in. We're back. As you can see here, we got Dante to my some side over here. I'm bad with directions. What's going on?
Your left.
To my left. To my left.
Hello, guys. Welcome. Man, that intro was freaking fantastic, man. I was dancing behind the scenes. I don't know if you can see me, but it was like, that was a good one. I think it's the first time I saw that intro, man.
Yeah, I don't do it much because I definitely get demonetized every time.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You know.
but dude, thanks for the invite. Nice to see Uncommon Flex. Nice to see you guys on the chat. We're gonna have an amazing show tonight, so let's get rolling, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Uncommon Flex, speaking of, my friend, good to have you back, my man. How you doing tonight?
It is good to be here. I am doing very well, thank you. My first time on a stream with Dante, so I am honored.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to having some great chat tonight. But I do want to say my YouTube name may be Uncommon Flex, but that opening, that was a flex. Mafia flexed all over us. You are the man. You are the man.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm not worthy. Not worthy.
Big Brother, man, what's going on, dude? He said you would see that intro more times if you watch your French channel, Dante. Oh, that's hilarious, man. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna get through some of the chat here. Everybody tuning in, man. There's a lot of people in here already, but I do want to say, I believe I just got a couple of notifications here. Speaking of Dante, appreciate it, brother.
Dude, my apologies.
It's been a minute.
I honestly thought I was a member. I'm like, wait, why don't I don't have the little like, you know, the badge next to it? Oh shit, never became a man. I felt like shit right now. I'm like, dude, I swear to God, I thought I was a member already. Because I'm a member of like Easy, I'm a member of Joao, member like, you know, Aries, you like. Sorry, but I'm here. Never, you know, it's never too late.
Better late than never. Isn't that how the phrase goes?
Literally, I just realized right now because I went to the chat. I'm looking at where is my little badge here. I'm like,
There's my little mafia guy.
That is okay. That is okay. It's pretty awesome, man. But Fabulous Disaster as well just became a channel member. Thank you so much.
Nice.
I do appreciate that very, very much. We do have a lot of people in the chat. I'm not gonna click everybody right now, but I'm just gonna run through it, man. We got Carlos in here, Ashley Chase, or Ash Chase, my apologies now, name change. Commander Green as well, single songwriter, Hector V, Oliver in the house, OAF Skywalker. Let's see who else is in here. Thor as well, Pop Culture Living Room. What is up, everybody? How are you doing, my friend, this evening as well? We have Blur Dad Life, Knights of Ren, Star Crash, Gary N. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. Tully as well. What's up, folks? Ryan R. says, holy shit. I'm so hyped. I'm gonna buy 10 Hot Toys by the end of this stream. I don't know, man. Maybe. Ren Saltino as well is in the house. Bob Dylan, my man. William Owens. Who else do we got up in here right now? Jerry as well. What is going on, my friend? AJ as well. What's going on, AJ? Oh gosh, we got a lot up in here. Pablo Meza, what is going on this evening? CT 603, my man. What is happening as well? Pedro 23, Blackbird Tech, Amir, what is going on? If I'm missing anybody, my apologies. We will be getting through everybody here. Insane One as well. Welcome to the chat. Comics as well. Miles Dyson, another regular. What is going on, my man? Tonight, Funky Cold Santa. Soon. That's right, man. That's right. It's very soon. And we're here. So a little bit of a delay, but not too bad. Chris C, Dinesh. Who else? Blitz is in the house. Apologies if I missed anybody. We got quite a lot of people here. Ant-Man as well. Dr. Julius Strange Pork. my man Fat Man's Batman collecting Nightmare. What is going on, dude? Woo! Lots of people here. Lots of people tonight. So, pretty awesome stuff. But yeah, man. So it's been a little bit crazy these past few months, I would say. Maybe a little bit more. Climbing. We're just really going to talk about kind of like what's been going on with prices. We talked a little bit about it backstage, but I kind of wanted to get a little bit more, a little more in depth with everybody. And let me see if I can just bring this up. I didn't really have a lot. I'm just going to bring up Sideshow. Because, kind of like at the top of the list, right? The newest, I'm sorting by newest, right, for everybody. And, gosh, I guess we could, the main topic, but let's pull this guy up anyway, since he is the newest here. Thor, but $345 though.
That hurts.
Yeah, let me start with Dante, man. What are your thoughts on, I guess, both, right? The figure and the price.
So I think I was like everyone, a bit surprised that they decided to do Thor before any Obi-Wan figure, and I can understand why they didn't do any Obi-Wan figures just yet, because they were waiting for the last episode to probably give us what we are pretty much gonna get. Spoiler alert, probably a battle damage Vader. But nevertheless, I think this figure looks really good. We spoke about this the other day. I love the colors, very 80s, and anything 80s to me is gonna get my attention. So very happy with that. Head sculpt, obviously better, is an improvement from the previous versions. Better paint, probably the same mold, but again, better paint. Price wise, $345. To be honest with you, it is borderline high.
Close to $400 with tax and shipping.
It is a bit pricey, but again, we're getting, for the deluxe, we're getting 2 set of arms. We're getting a lot of detail on the suit itself, wire cape, an extra accessory that they haven't shown us yet, maybe because they're waiting for the movie to be out, which is understandable. Yeah. But other than that, I think it is priced according to the current situation of the world. So it is really not, it was not a surprise there, right? I think prices are going to be in that ballpark for a long time, unfortunately, right? So they need to be kind of like smart how they price these things, because you don't want to price something at this range without much to offer, right? This figure is packed of accessories. Obviously, the ladder feature, we have the lightning effects, the Stormbreaker. Probably we're gonna get the hammer as well. So, the arms seem different as well compared to the previous version. This seems more like a better painted, better molded. So look at this.
Well, he bulked up too for the Hulk Hogan movie. So
right. So
he's definitely a beefier you know what I mean? Like,
and this pose is fantastic. So I think based on what we got, it is priced well, but still it is a bit high, right?
I think so. And well, I guess Ty, let me know what your thoughts are, man, because I know, like, between Dante and I, like, we get a lot of stuff, I've been slowly getting out of Marvel in general, but this doesn't necessarily, it's not just Marvel this is affecting, as Dante had pointed out. And I'm curious what your thoughts are, being kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, not like new as far as collecting, but not as seasoned as we are from when it was way cheaper. So I'm wondering, like, does this concern you at all, like these prices, or?
Very, very much so. Like, I'm definitely, compared to you two, I'm definitely the rookie here. I was getting a figure here and there over the years, but now I've like gotten more serious about it and everything. I can tell you, I remember my first Hot Toys ever was Civil War Black Widow, and she was like $145. And to see it go from that and like Han Solo and Stormtrooper outfit at like $230 or whatever it was, and now like I was watching a video the other day, and the price, I forgot who I was watching, but they said the price of this thing Like 345, I was like, no. Like for a Thor, I think that's a bit high. You know, that's really creeping into Iron Man territory for me. You know, that's what I expect an Iron Man or like a bigger figure like a Thanos or something like that to cost. And you know, it's kind of disturbing. I know everything is higher nowadays, but I think they're really just pushing it a little bit too much, because I don't think this figure is 345 worthy.
Yeah, and that's you know, that's Janesh makes a good point. Rather get a statue with these prices, you know, because you're getting up there, and that's kind of, you know, first obviously I want to just look at the figure itself, because obviously it's new, interesting to see what it looks like, but it's like, yeah, when is too high too high? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what we were gonna look through this evening. OAF Skywalker says, Dante, where are you from? Your accent is nice sounding.
Ooh.
I'm Peruvian, man.
There you have it.
I got one other thing to add too. Like, speaking of statues, I have a 3D printer now, like a couple of them, and for like $30 I could buy a model and print like 1/3, like whatever scale I want, get some paint, slap the paint on there, and I got a statue. You know, I've got a good collection going, you know, and it's a nice hobby.
3D printing should be fun. I was looking into it, but you know, knowing myself that I suck at many things, I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, it's very interesting.
We can talk, Dante.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, you know? But I was looking into that because sometimes I'm feeling like I want to create some like accessories or something for my figures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe something that it wasn't included with the original figure. So, you know, you can get, but I think you need to get the file somewhere or something like that.
Yeah, you can get them. Some are free. You can do a lot on Patreon, but they're easy to find. And some of them, I'm not gonna lie, look better than like the Sideshow stuff. You know, they don't use like they're not up there with J&D or Queen Studios, but they are definitely competing with Sideshow.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, you know, that's kind of what I was looking at as well. Blackbird Tech brings up a good point too. He says 2 years from now, you'll see many tapping out and leaving this hobby due to rising prices. It's happening already. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's, you know, it's not to like discourage people, but these are like honest problems that we're all having here. You know, as we mentioned, you know, low backstage, we were talking about, you know, it's just everything's expensive. It's not just hot toys, right? We're living in a world now where, I don't know about you guys, but my rent just skyrocketed. You know, groceries are crazy, gas. I was like, you know, I mean, I don't want to kind of bring in the real world here, but you know, we kind of have to sometimes. We have to step back and look and have a little perspective here that, like,
right,
you know, as people mentioned in the chat, I mean, and as well as, you know, that, you know, we would pick up figures, really good figures for, you know, $200, 240.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is a reality, you know, and this is a point that we always talk in, you know, your show, Anthony, my show. We always talk about budgeting, planning, and making sure that you can actually get the figures you want without going too crazy, right? Of course, you need to make decisions, right? Are you gonna buy Hot Toys or buy food for your family? You know what I mean? So those are the decisions you need to make. Obviously, if we are into these hobbies, because we're blessed that we can afford this thing, right? Because this is not cheap. But at the same time, when the economy changes, prices start going up. Maybe you're not able to get 5 figures a month, like maybe you could at one point, just to throw a number right there. And I'm saying that everyone gets 5 figures a month, but let's just throw a number. Now, instead of getting 5, now you're probably gonna get 3 because the prices are higher. And also you have all the responsibilities, right? And this is where planning comes into place. If you really, really, really need the figure, right? If this is something for you, or it's just the peer pressure that I call the hype, right? Because if we are into this, we're all friends, we collect, we talk all the time about figures, releases, potential stuff, whatever. And then when it comes, maybe it's not something that you like, but because everyone else is collecting, you get pressure. And so, you know what? Anthony's getting it, Dante's getting it, this is get. Let me get it as well. Maybe that's not for you, but you get it because you feel the pressure. So this is where you need to kind of like sit back and think: do I really need this thing, or should I just kind of be focused on what I really want? Get my piece of paper, my Excel sheet, whatever you have your budget or whatever, and plan ahead and make sure that when figures come, you know what you're gonna get, you know what you can afford. That's simple as that.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Real quick, we got Graham in the house. What is going on, my man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Who's the guy over there?
Jedi Knights Watch, my friend.
Hello.
Hey, good to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. We were just discussing this Thor and the costs. So I guess maybe you can fill us in a little bit on what do you think of the figure?
I think the figure itself looks really good. The head sculpt, I think it looks good in most of the angles that I see it, but then there's some that I don't know if I really see. God, I'm blanking on his name. Remind me of his name.
Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth, thank you. But I think it's pretty good. It's at least like 8.5 out of 10. The outfit, if you like classic Thor, I think this is a great outfit to have. It seems like he's coming with a lot of stuff. You know, he comes with the helmet and everything. It's tough to judge it before you kind of see the movie because sometimes it depends on kind of how the movie does as well. But kind of going off of what Dante said, for the price, you do have to really be, you know, kind of selective with these prices that keep creeping up. So like for me, again, we have to look at it and we'll be like, yeah, it's a really cool figure, but is this something that I can afford right now with all of the Star Wars figures coming in, with all the pre-orders kind of dropping, even the, you know, just everything new coming out. So like for me, Marvel's kind of cold right now, and maybe the movie will change my mind, but I have Bro Thor and I kind of have like an Avengers set. So if I get this, I'll have 2 Thor figures and one won't really fit. So like for me right now, it's a pass just because I have other things that are higher on my priority list because, again, I do have a Thor figure. But outside of that, I mean, it looks pretty cool. I'm interested to see what the additional accessory is. You know, everything else, I mean, you know, the base is typical. He's got Stormbreaker, which is, you know, pretty typical as well. You know, we've kind of seen all that, but the outfit itself being different, I think, is what really drives this figure. Plus, I do think the likeness is pretty good. Like I said, it's just a couple angles that maybe I don't see him as much.
Yeah, you know, and I'm curious too because I know we just had in the chat Funky Cold Santa was wondering, and I'm curious as well. I don't know that. Is it still the same sculpt from Age of Ultron, just slightly, you know, different paint app?
It is slightly different. I think the hair
really looks like it, right?
Very similar. And actually, one of my friends on Instagram, let me see his name. I just want to make sure that I pronounce it right. Okay, Rogue Toy Art. He shared a picture with me yesterday, and I don't know if you guys can see, but
can I just bring you in here? A little better. There you go.
So let me send it to you so you can actually share it on your thing.
Okay. Let's bring you back to regular screen here.
That's interesting that they would go back to that far back of a head sculpt.
Boss.
Well, saves money.
Yeah.
You know.
And then they're still charging more.
I know. Yep. I know, right? It's a bit it's a bit much there. I'll go ahead and pull that up here in a second here if you've sent that to me. But real quick, I do want to address CT603, my man, with a $6.03 super chat. I do appreciate it. He says rising prices plus amount of releases plus vehicles equals the perfect storm. And we're going to talk about that, brother. And I do appreciate that. With 110 in here, guys, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to everybody here on this panel if you have not already. If this is your first time seeing anybody, Uncommon Flex or Jedi Knights Watch. God forbid you haven't heard of Dante, but if you haven't, subscribe to everybody here, man. for more insightful and somewhat depressing conversations. You know, but it is. Everybody around, man. Everybody around here. So I'm gonna take a look. Where'd you send me that, Dante?
I sent you on message.
Okay, on message.
Yeah, and another thing, going back to that comment of the vehicles and all that, you know, another thing to take into account, because now the prices are a bit higher. Obviously, the demand is going to be a bit less, right? Not too many people is going to get that, because obviously the price. So that means that quantity are going to be small, and chances are that those figures with vehicles or higher or more pricey figures may not last longer, because there's really not too much quantity, right? So, and that's another thing. Then when you get to the point that you want to get those figures, then it could be difficult, because it's going to be sold out, or you're going to maybe end up paying the aftermarket price. So it's kind of like, you know, it is difficult sometimes to predict, right? And again, right now, everything in Star Wars is hot. It's hot as hell. So maybe Thor can sit in the shelves for a little bit, but anything Star Wars, I think after those figures, especially the clones with those vehicles, are released and sold out, it's going to be very hard to get, like pricey. So, you know, if you're an investor, maybe you're going to buy two so you can sell the other one when sold out. You know?
Yeah.
So,
well, that's what it's kind of getting to, I think.
Right. And it's a fair game, you know?
Yeah. No, they totally. Mad Makes, my man, what's going on tonight? He says if they did rooted hair, it'd be worth the $345, which I agree. I think the prices are a little bit too. They're getting a little too high, especially as we're all talking. A lot of us here in chat about vehicles coming. Oh yes, this is, you know, everybody wanted more Star Wars, and we're getting a lot. We're getting it all now.
Now
so
we're
it's
getting
pretty
it.
crazy. Like CT603 says, I'm scrambling, building displays in preparation of incoming vehicles. It's not just Star Wars too, right? We have a DeLorean coming. We have another Batmobile, I'm sure, coming. You know, the Blurg. Yeah, Attack of the Blurgs, that's coming. Right? We're getting the swoop bike, the return of the Jedi Scout bike.
Ecto is coming.
Yeah, Ecto 1 Afterlife. I mean, if you're, you know, just I don't know how broad you're going with your collecting, you know, but there's plenty of stuff coming, and it's just, guys, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me bring this back up here really quick, because what I was basically looking at was just kind of like what's the newest stuff, right? Because on one hand, we get to see what's the most current prices of the latest releases, but also on a flip side, I think a lot of people may not pay attention to sometimes is that, and I talked about this. We can talk about Cad Bane briefly, but I was saying, hey, listen, they teased Cad Bane, and I was like, if he gets announced in the next week or two, which he did, he's gonna fall right around the same time that other stuff comes out, right? Because that's the other thing when you're looking at, you know, sorting by newest, these all hit around the same. So now, you know, everybody's wanting, you know, these two vehicles, right? Possibly these exclusives, but they're gonna come quick. And if we omit Marvel right now, everything from the May 4th announcement right here, right? All of this stuff
gone. It's gonna be gone.
And the vehicles and Cad Bane just in Star Wars and Boba Fett, right? Those are all going to start hitting like at the same time.
A lot of people are going to be tapping out.
Yeah. So I wonder these things, like if you're going to say, okay, you know what? Oh, Cad Bane's out. I really want him. But then what about the $1,300 in the two vehicles? But I know not everybody gets everything, but if you know what I'm saying? Like, because I've been a victim of it. I know, Dante, you've been. I'm not too sure, you know, Graham and Ty, if you've had issues where you had these orders and then all of a sudden you're getting hit with this consecutive like bombardment of final purchase orders or things like that.
Absolutely. Like,
it's
I missed out on a lot because of that. I missed out on some like Princess Leia and Han Solo because of that. I ended up canceling the wrong things because I just had all these pre-orders hit at the same time. I'm like, what do I do? You know, it's easy to put $27 towards a figure, and then they all come to roost at the same time. It's like, I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Right.
It is tough because I'm gonna talk just for myself. The the latest figures that came out, like Miles Morales, the Superman, Batman 2-pack, that's the figures I wanted. So like, it's not even me thinking, oh, I'm gonna get it and sell it like I normally do, right? To get different figures, because even though I like them, I don't want to keep them in my collection, right? Just because I need more room for Star Wars stuff. But those are the figures that I wanted, so it was tough for me. I'm like, it's hard when you get like a 3, 4, 5 figures in less than 2 weeks. Like what happened, when
Last year.
A few months ago, when we got Jango Fett, we got Moff Gideon, we got Snowspeeder Luke.
That's true. Yeah, recently.
We got like 3 like in a row. So, and the thing is, like, I wanted those 3 in my collection. I'm gonna keep those 3. So that right there like took pretty much all my budget for the month. Like this, like Thanos type of thing. And then I'm like, shit. So I needed to wait and play around with my money to get the next wave of figures. And then something else came out. I think it was the Harley Quinn, but I wasn't into those. So I was thinking, okay, this is perfect. It's a break for me. So just gonna pass on those. But then all the figures came. Even I was very close not to get the comic Iron Man, the one with the plastic, the clear plastic. But because it is kind of unique, right? I wanted to see it. I was really on the fence whether I'm gonna keep it or not, right? I ended up not keeping it, not because I didn't like it, just because I'm very selective with my Marvel and Iron Man figures, But the figure was really freaking good, man. That diorama, that base that came with, dude, that was really good, and that kind of sold me a little bit. And the plastic didn't bother me at all. Some people probably bothered, but to me, very good figure. But you need to make decisions, right? I said, you know what, more figures are gonna come. Most likely, we're gonna get the Batman, Superman. So I just need to sell it, get my money back, and then put that money into something else. So that's what we do, right? We have to be smart how we play with our money, pretty much.
Oh yeah. I mean, Graham, let me ask you, man, because I mean, have you been hit with something like that where there's like, you've gotten a bunch of orders set and then you're like, oh gosh, like I didn't anticipate this?
In a way. So I haven't pre-ordered much for a while. I think the Batman, Superman, Justice League 2-pack is one of the last ones, along with like Doc Brown, I think, that I pre-ordered. But my issue was, because I've only been collecting for a little bit over 2 years, I've been going backwards. So what I'm doing is I'm getting these figures, but then all of a sudden I get 3 figures, and then all of a sudden I do get hit with, oh, this figure is coming in soon. And now, whether I pre-ordered it or not, if I wanted it, I still have to make that choice. Well, I made this choice. Can I swing this, or do I have to put it on the back burner? Kind of same thing with the 2-pack, the Justice League 2-pack. I just got a New Hope Obi-Wan, the Batmobile, Snowspeeder Luke. Of course, I've been kind of selling things as well to kind of make some of those moves happen. But now I'm just kind of like, well, it's a pricey figure that's going to be dropping within the next month. So either I can do it or I can't. So, I mean, yeah, those are the choices, especially nowadays with the prices creeping up. It's like you got prices creeping up, and then you got so many more figures coming at the same time too, where now more than ever, you got to be selective with what you're collecting. Like, I'm almost thinking, like, do I just go with a New Hope for Star Wars, or not a New Hope, the original trilogy for Star Wars, and try to just keep it limited to that? Because, I mean, Star Wars in itself is just such a beast to collect. And, if you're collecting everything, even if you're just collecting Star Wars, Anthony, maybe you can agree, it's almost like overwhelming just with how many figures we're getting just in Star Wars alone if you collect everything. So I'm just trying to, be selective, kind of limit what I'm getting, make those tough choices. If I think it's going to be around a while and I didn't pre-order it, I'll put it on the back burner and I'll just kind of wait it out, especially with some of these Marvel figures. They've been on Sideshow for going on a year. So that's kind of just the way I've been playing the game right now, but it's always changing. And I think we as collectors just have to keep adapting to how the market changes.
Oh, dude, I'm in 100% with that. It's like totally saying here, reassuring to know that there are regular Joes out there that have the same problem collecting as us mere peasants. No, man,
I'm a peasant too, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough,
Absolutely.
and I see some people saying you know don't want to admit how much NRDs they've lost, and I've been there too. There's sometimes where I've been a victim of just kind of, I mean, it's a little off topic, but like, you know, going through, almost feeding off some hype, right? Because you get kind of excited. You're like, oh, that figure looks cool.
Very.
And then you just kind of, you get, you know, you're like, oh, it's $30. I'm gonna pre-order this, and then you know, time goes by or whatever, and you're like, you know, do I really? I don't know. You start trying to make up excuses for yourself. Does it fit in my collection? Do I really like it?
Trying
You
to
know,
talk
or
yourself
whatever.
out of it almost.
Yeah, or hell, even something comes up. You know, something comes up.
The one,
So-
That's true.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the one thing about the prices creeping up like this is it does make you a bit more careful about what you're going to purchase. Because like I remember before when they were cheaper, it's a little easier to say, oh, this looks kind of cool, and it's sort of like a casual purchase where I'm not really into this guy, but it's not too much money. Let me grab him. Like now, you got to really think like, hey, this Thor's $345. Do I really like Thor this much?
Right.
You know, you really have to think now. So that's, in a way, that's kind of a good thing. You know, it's definitely made me pare down what I'm collecting now. Like I've shied away from Marvel and more Star Wars, but like Graham said, you can't do all Star Wars because that is a whole big thing you can go down. You know, a big hole you can go down. So it's like OT, but I like clones. You know, where do I stop? You know, so you have to be very selective because like the rest of you guys, I'm not rich. I mean, honestly, between all of us here in the community, like I've been on disability for a year, so I really have to be careful with what I'm doing.
Right.
It's a really good point. Another thing is that if you are into, I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan, so for me it's much easier, right? But also I start getting into DC a bit more. So because you know, but not like every DC figure, but well, there's not too many anyways. But you know, the Justice League, for example, when I get the whole line, that was one of my little goals I had, and I'm rebuilding the Dark Knight line, right? I already have the DX19. I got the Two-Face. You know, hopefully we can get. I mean, the Catwoman is coming. Hopefully we can get Bane and Joker from Hot Toys. And we know Inart is gonna do Joker, but one thing that I recommend and ask people, if you are into Marvel right now, maybe wait a little bit more before buying because you can get extra discounts. So some of those figures are probably going to be free shipping at one point, maybe $10, $15 off, which if you do your math adds up at the end of the day, right? So who doesn't want free shipping? I mean, easy as that, right?
Of course.
So if you're into Star Wars, maybe it's going to be a bit difficult because it's kind of hot right now. So as soon as you see a little discount, $5, $10 or whatever, if you are into Star Wars and you really want the figure, I will probably say go for it, right? Don't wait longer because then chances are it's going to be waitlisted at one point. So again, it comes to how you manage your collection. What is your priorities? If you are a Star Wars fan, Marvel fan, DC fan, what do you really want? You know, and based on that, just plan ahead. And sometimes you need to make decisions whether you need to sell something to find something else. It is perfectly fine as well. It's nothing wrong doing that. There's nothing wrong doing that. People change their mind all the time. People want to change the way they collect. You know, oh, I used to get every single figure. Now, you know what? Because of what's going on and because I'm getting a little tight on the budget. Okay, so let me get all Marvels only and then Star Wars be selective or vice versa, right? So this is where planning comes, you know. And yeah, I will say if you're a Marvel fan, especially right now, maybe you want to wait a little more. Don't jump ahead too quick because you might get really good discounts.
And
That is true. Go ahead, Drew. I'm sorry.
It's really tough to even. I mean, it's easier for us to say, you know, collect what you really love. But I mean, I'm just like everybody else, where the first year and a half, I was trying to grab everything I could, and I thought everything was so cool because I was new to Hot Toys, and I'm just seeing it in the store, so I'm gonna get it. But then I'm having like buyer's regret. I'm starting to sell things more. So I think saying, be selective and whatnot, I know it's easier said than done. We preach that, but like even now, like I've been collecting for a few years and I'm just now kind of really starting to hone in on where I want to take the collection, what I want to do with it, what I want it to be. And I'm still making mistakes within the last couple months, but I think each mistake I make, I get a little bit closer to actually knowing what I want to do. But it's tough because there is just so much cool stuff out there that you want it all. And I would just say, just really do your best to budget. Like Dante said, use a monthly budget, pace yourself, because you don't want to go belly up in this hobby. So especially with just the way the market is right now.
No, absolutely. And Ed here brings up a good point that I wanted to kind of just touch on, because he said, I just received my Boba 2-pack in Assault Tank Commander and Anakin. Congratulations, by the way. All awesome figures. Now I want Justice League 2-pack and Spider-Verse Miles, and money's tight now. See, that's how I think we're all feeling.
That's like freaking good figures, man. I'm telling you. And this is the thing, right?
My JL Superman so that I can get Miles.
Well, and I was thinking about selling my JL Superman to get the 2-pack, but then I'm like, I don't know.
Then you're cannibalizing your collection, though.
Right.
So it's like, go ahead.
Well, I was getting away from Justice League, but then I saw this 2-pack, and that the head sculpt for Batman, I really like on that one, on the Nightmare Batman. But I was like, okay, Miles, the 2-pack, and I want to support figures of color. I mean, I've canceled Miles twice before because it took so doggone long, but now I'm gonna get him. So Soup had to go.
That happens. That absolutely happens. You know what I mean? Like, because I was to the point where for a while I was collecting kind of everything over the years, but over the years, more and more and more obviously start, it keeps coming, right? Like, you're not going to stop collecting, right? Or at least I'm not. So as the years go by, generally, I can't even speak. Generally, guys, your collection grows over time. So for me, it ends up being almost like counterproductive if I'm selling my figures to buy figures. Now, not to say that that's a bad thing, but for me, like, I want in particular, my Star Wars collection to grow, right? I want to look at that over the course of many years and say, oh, okay, this is pretty dope. You know what I mean? Like, but I couldn't do that personally when I was in the Marvel lane, or I didn't even really touch the DC lane. And that's okay. A lot of people ask me, I wonder what's the matter? You don't like DC? And it's like, no, I love DC. But you can appreciate things from afar, right?
Right.
From others. I can look at pictures. I can watch your guys, reviews, or, have my friends say, hey, look at my figure. Like Sean, he's my neighbor next door. He's got a lot of DC. Like, hey, look at that. You know what I mean? I don't own it, but because it's hard. It's super difficult to go into every lane, and then as things keep climbing in price, you're like, damn, now I really have to choose. Like, Graham, you got a really cool looking collection there, but for me, I'd be like, that's kind of how I was at. I had a little bit of everything, and then I was like,
right.
And that's cool if you guys want to just have a little bit of everything, but then it becomes even more selective, right? Because you're like,
right,
damn, do I want this Batman? I have 3 of them. But now there's this new Luke, or this new, Bo-Katan, and I like Star Wars. So then you're like, okay, who's more important? Because I can't drop $800.
Right. It's tough to juggle.
Right. Yeah. This week. Right. Because then, like, the next week or two, you're going to be faced with the same decision.
Right.
Like,
you see,
forever.
You touch a very good point over there. Like, and bring me to my point that I said earlier, right? Really nothing wrong for people like buying or selling stuff to get more figures. There's nothing wrong with that. It is, to me, actually a smart way of doing it, because, you are pretty much capitalizing the money you already have sitting there. So smart, right? Because you want to move, change lines, and 100% right. You see, in again, I'm going to talk just my case. I like Star Wars the most. I also like Marvel and DC. Those are my three lines, right? But then with Marvel, for example, I don't get every Marvel figure. You know, I can get it for review, but that doesn't mean I'm keeping it. You know, I have to sell it because one, I'm really not into that particular character. The figure is amazing, but I don't have the space for it, so I have to, you know, finance my other figure. So that's the reason why I don't have many Iron Mans, and I downsize on purpose. You know, I used to have the 𝗦𝗢𝗠𝗘s. I used to have the Mark 50, the Mark 47, and the exclusive edition, the one with the plastic edition, whatever. The translucent one, you know, not the one that recently came out. It was the other one. I remember that. I think it was Mark 7 or something like that. But the plastic one, the whole plastic one. So and then I said, you know what? I'm not into getting every Iron Man figure, so to me it's kind of pointless. So I pretty much sold all of them and just kept my Mark 85 battle damage and clean version, because that to me is my ultimate Iron Man. So I'm happy with that. Now, in regards to Thor, I get rid of the Infinity War and I kept the Endgame one. So chances are that probably I'm gonna get this new one and just that's it, right? And then move on to the next one. Captain America, I don't have only one version, which is the Endgame, and that's it. You know, then, you know, Thanos, I have to make a decision which Thanos I'm going to get, the clean version or battle damage. Me personally, I like the clean version a bit more, so I'm going to keep that one, you know, and I kept that one and I get rid of the other one. So those are decisions that you need to make, right? Now, when you ask me for Star Wars, it's a different story, because for Star Wars, I want to get every figure because I like Star Wars the most. That's actually how I started collecting with Star Wars. So, and that's the toughest part because there's so many good figures. Now,
and you have horror, like Big Brett is saying.
And that means that I'm not gonna get doubles for Star Wars. Like, trust me, I was very tempted to get like a 2, you know, 501st troopers or 2 Coruscant guards. Or the only one that I got doubles was the exclusive ones, the chrome ones, because those to me are very nice. And I never had something like that. So to me, it was more like, okay, you know what? I want to have two clone troopers, right? So one I can display with the regular helmet, and the other one with the other helmet, and then the Dark Trooper, right? So those are the decisions you need to make, right?
Oh yeah.
But again, you know, planning. That's all.
Well, planning's key, definitely. And as Ed points out here, he says, I'm new in collecting and going to ham. Right. Sometimes we do. So I've done it. I think everybody here's done it. So I can't think of selling now. I know guys know what's best. I always listen to your advice and opinions, right? And that's what we try to bring, because there's a lot of new collectors coming in every day. And I never want to like stray people away, right? Because there's a lot of that going on out there too. You don't know. And, you know, one of the things, and I know this is just a little off topic, is that, you know, one thing we all feel like that we have in common is we have one constant, right? We all are into 6-scale collecting, whether it's Hot Toys, you know, third party, Exo-6, Sideshow, whatever, 3-0, you know, so on and so forth. We always feel like, oh, okay. But not everybody always has your best interests at heart. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I always try to steer the ship in the right way, or what I think is the right way, right? Like for one, I don't think you should ever, unless you can afford it, but there's no reason to be ordering day one Hong Kong, especially with prices. Now, back in the day, I just want to say this for a minute. Back in the day, ordering from Hong Kong was cheap. It was cheaper than what we're seeing now, right? It wasn't until this large kind of awakening or something, right, that more and more people are collecting, where people started going, oh, you know what, we can be resellers and we can just nickel and dime people, right? Because there's this huge demand, and it's a basic supply and demand. But, you know, again, it used to be cheaper than ordering like from Sideshow or something, but not anymore. And then when you have people saying, yeah, order here, order there, get this day one, it's like, if you can swing it and you really want that figure, because I know the feeling, and I've done it myself. It's just, but the collecting game of Hot Toys. Let's just call it Hot Toys for right now. The collecting world of Hot Toys it's never ending. My camera just froze, but it's never ending. Yeah, I'm frozen. Just give me a second. I can talk and do this. I think I can. Yeah, so it's never ending.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that should be okay. There we go.
There we go.
But that's my whole point. Collecting is never. I mean, do you see yourself? Do you go, you know what? In 2027, I'm done collecting Hot Toys, right? So
2023.
that's the problem. Right, exactly. You don't know. So my point is, like, you can wait and save money, and as Dante, you pointed out earlier, you know, sometimes things will go free shipping, or, you know, local comic book stores or something like that will offer deals, or, you know, especially local comic book stores, you can go in and you can do trade-ins if you have stuff. You know, maybe you have old figures of something else or comic books or whatever to kind of soften a blow, and, you know, also support your local comic store. So there are all these options, unless you guys want to, you know, get something right away, because I've done it. Right, I got Rex like right away. I got Venom right away. Like, you know, we do that as collectors, and I'm not saying as content creators either, because I know Dante, you do your reviews, so it's, you know, speed is important. But as a collector who's just trying to, you know, collect, you can take your time. There's no rush. The only time I would ever suggest, and not even overseas really, is, you know, even just domestically, is if something blue screens. Right? If you're still on the fence with something and you're like, oh shoot, this is about to sell out, then maybe, right, you know, dive in.
You see, things with the blue screen is a tactic, really. If you keep track of how many times that happened and it was waitlisted and the next day it was again back in stock, it's just to create that hype for people to get those figures right away, because, oh shoot, blue, you know, it has a blue bar, whatever, you know. And I noticed that many times, you know. I don't know if that's done on purpose or it's just a tactic, so people can just kind of pull the trigger and, you know, kind of say, okay, you know what, you got like 3 months thinking about it, just go for it, right? But again, and that comes with the hype, right? You have the FOMO. You're like, oh shoot, I don't want to miss out on this one. Everyone has it, but I have to get it, you know. And that's where you start kind of getting into the emotional decision. So when you collect something, I think, and this is my personal opinion, and I can be 100% wrong, I always have to put that disclosure right there. You know, when you collect something, it's very simple, whether you like it or not, right?
Right.
If you need it, you need it. If you don't need it, you don't need it. If you didn't order for the past 3 months, for example, chances are that you don't need that figure. So why going crazy because you see the blue bar on the top? You know, and that's going to take away the budget for a figure that maybe you won next week, for example, or next month or so, right? That's another thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this hobby is getting very expensive, right? And so being selective is key, I think. Unless, obviously, if you have the money, you can buy anything, by all means, you know, you can, right? And you're blessed. Do it, right? But if you are like a regular like us, that we need to budget ourselves because we have other responsibilities, then you need to be smart how you buy your figures.
I see a lot more people that are going to be going to one franchise in the future. Like, I know, Anthony, you said you collected kind of everything in the beginning and now you kind of focused on Star Wars. I think that's going to be a trend that keeps on going as well. I think a lot of collectors are going to have to pick and choose, you know, what their favorite franchise is, whether it be Marvel or DC, miscellaneous,
right? One
Star
of the
Wars.
big three, or
right? But like, for my experience, again, it comes back to knowing your heart and knowing what you want. I thought I should just go to the big three as well, because then I could focus on building the lines out. So I sold a bunch of my miscellaneous. I had major regret because all of the nostalgia of like the 80s for me, Terminator, RoboCop, John Wick is not 80s, but John Wick, you know, stuff like that. And I couldn't be without it. So then I was getting figures for Star Wars, which I love. Star Wars, favorite franchise, but I was getting figures that I didn't necessarily need. Like Dante was saying, like, I was just, I'm scrolling through Sideshow. What can I buy? What can I buy? What can I buy? What can I add to it? And I'd pick them up, and then I'm like, okay, I don't really need this one. I miss my other figures that I had. So, like, for me, what I can do is I can get one Iron Man and be happy with that. I don't need a bunch of other ones. I can have one Luke in my collection. I don't know if I can have one Darth or one Joker, one Batman, but for the most part, I'm good with one, and I can be selective and kind of have everything, because to me, this back here is a representation of me and my likes and who I am. So like, people are like, you should get rid of those turtles. I'm like, I can't. Like, they're just too cool, man. Like,
I did.
No.
I want to get those so freaking bad.
I'm hooking up my buddy Sean. He's like one of my friends for life. You know, I think he's gonna take the turtles from me. I just look, and I love them too. Don't get me wrong. I was there in the theater, man. I remember the day. I remember what we had for lunch, like that kind of stuff. Same with Batman in '89. Like I remember very specific moments there, but it's just like, you know what? I don't have it. I don't have the space.
Right.
You know, those are kind of big, but you know, also it's that, you know,
I mean, there's no wrong answer. It's just, again, I think you just gotta be truthful to yourself, but also be smart, because again, yeah, you'll tap out, you'll go belly up. You know, I've been close because, you know, I tried to collect everything when I first started, and, you know, I couldn't do it. So now I'm kind of like, if I have to sell a figure to get 2 figures, I'll do it, depending on if I can make that emotional detachment. But I've kind of learned that lesson too. I got to think about it. I think it was you, Anthony, that had that great idea too. If you're looking to sell a figure, put it away for 2 weeks, see if you miss it. And if you do, obviously you shouldn't sell it. And if you forgot about it, then yeah, go ahead and sell it.
I started doing that too.
I feel that way a lot. It's the thing is you have, okay, there's a debate. We can debate this forever and ever, because there's always, you know, Star Wars fans, Marvel's fans,
right,
whatever fans. But you have to ask yourself, like you were saying, like, is one Iron Man good enough for you? You know, Knights of Ren, I got one Cap, one Thor, one Iron Man battle damaged, all our end game. That's my Marvel representation, right? And that's cool, because you have, okay, you know, I got a little corner here.
Yep.
That's my rep. Like, for example, I'm going to be picking up the Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. That's all I need, right? That's all I need, because that's just my representation of that movie and that time. If I could get an '89 Batman and that Batmobile that you have down there, you know, I would like that. But then you start looking at that. Oh shit! Well, now I have Doc and Marty, and I'm gonna get a Back to the Future 2 DeLorean. So now you see you've got a little bit of representation. It's not even a lot of figures. I got 2 figures, 2 figures of each, and a vehicle. Then you're like, oh shit. So it depends on. But you're right. It depends on what you. Because I think we can all say that we like everything. Right, we like everything,
right?
But we can't have everything. So, do you want to go deep in one line, or do you kind of want to be a jack of all trades, right? And I don't think there's any wrong answer, because it's what you connect to at the end of the day. I mean, no one's buying your figures but you, right? So, you know, if you want to do that, that's perfectly cool. But now it's like we're saying, with prices going up, you still have to, dude. Even as like being like strictly Star Wars, I'm still faced with it. As Dante pointed out, bro, dude, we got Moff Gideon, we got Jango Fett, Snowspeeder Luke, all in like a week. Now, I don't think there's fear of them selling out anytime soon, so it's not like we have to buy them all right away. But you still have that nagging feeling, right? You're like what Graham's saying, you know, you're like, fuck, man, you're waiting around for something. You're like, well, what else is available for today that I can buy, right? That ships tomorrow. And then you're like, well, I got this now. And then, you know, so you don't have to get them all right away, but you get that feeling, right? That you're just like, there's a little bit of addiction there too. So it's hard. And I know what some people are saying in the chat. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with everybody here, the 130 something in here right now. Hit that like button, guys. Subscribe. I was going to say all that good stuff. Appreciate it. I'm on the road to 2K, but everybody else as well.
It can happen, man.
It'll happen.
Today.
No, listen. Today, no, not today. Not today.
Today, come on.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, but not quite today. But no, here's the other flip side of the coin, though, right? When people are looking at, you know, $345, you know, whatever, here we got, you know, all these prices. Damn, bro. I mean, I could drop a little bit more money and pick up an old figure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what's happening sometimes, where you're like, well, shit, do I need this? I don't know. I'm going to use Thor as an example. Of course, he's a year and a half out. But let's say he's out right now. but maybe I kind of liked Gladiator Thor better from Thor Ragnarok. Just saying, if I just wanted a Thor. And I look at this and be all after tax and shipping's 400 something, you know, about $400. Well, I could buy a Gladiator Thor now for the same price. Because you know what I'm saying? Because not only were Grails a little bit higher, but now they're also coming down because of the situation that we're in now. I mean, Jesus, man, there's a Daredevil for $300. There's a Punisher for like $400. And not that long ago, they were both $600-700 figures on average. You know, prices are really coming down on older figures. Some will still hold. I think Yondu will stay up there for a little while. Couple others, Tarkin, Vader, you know, Han, Chewie, like some of those are still staying, but a lot of these figures, Anakin, Darkside Anakin, even they're slowly dipping because, you know, we're getting stuff. And it's like, on top of the fact that we're getting stuff that's, you know, going to arguably be better. We're also all having a financial freaking crisis outside of the collecting game. So it makes you wonder, you're like, well, what am I going to pay? You know, do I want to buy this now, or can I get something comparable that I liked that's older that's now affordable? As Gramps pointed out, right, you just bought a couple of older figures for really not that much different price-wise from new figures.
Right.
If I could chime in for a second here.
Absolutely.
One thing that has really helped me was coming and discovering this community. Because before, like Dante was saying, I'd see on Sideshow, I'd see the blue listed figures. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get it right now. But like watching you guys, I've learned in a relatively short period of time, you know, how this whole thing works. Like, hey, don't be afraid of that. This stuff's going to be around. You don't have to pre-order, you know, get some good advice because you guys aren't pushing us to, you know, some retailer that you have a business with or whatever, in some agreement. It's just like, hey, we love these figures. We're telling you, hey, what we think. You know, we're not saying go out, you must buy this. This is a must have. This is a must have if you have some attachment to the figure, you know. But one of the greatest things that I think, you know, most of the people in the chat would agree is this community is one of the greatest tools you can have at your fingertips, because you can get some great advice. It's great resources too. I can't talk either now.
No, you're absolutely right. I'll just say quickly that, you know, coming from through your perspective, that I appreciate that. I'm sure Dante appreciates that. You know, I've always said it, man. Like, day ones you don't need to do, and as you're mentioning, coming in, watching people, whomever, whatever. You know, just I feel like if anybody's trying to like convince you the day one pre-order overseas, it's not your friend, man, because this shit's expensive, and you know what I mean. You need to budget. You need to budget. You need to have a spreadsheet. I mean, this is some serious shit. You know what I mean? You have friends outside of the collecting world, right? Real life friends and family. They probably look at your collections. They're like, whoa, what the hell? And they have no idea, or some do, how expensive these things are. Yeah. You know, it's not like a $20-30 Target, you know, figure, you know, so you really have to factor that in when you're collecting and being like, do I need to spend this markup? Do I need this now? As Ty mentioned, is it going to go? The rare occurrence, and it can happen, but the heavy infantry Mando, right? He did go waitlisted on Sideshow before he came out. You remember Dante? We were there, Gandalf. Nobody would say, you know. Yeah.
I got him overseas.
And this, you know, and I want to go back to what Graham said, and I kind of like, he actually said it perfectly. Your collection represents you, right? If Graham looks back at his collection, that's who he is. This is what he likes, and that's all that matters, right? Because you collect for yourself. You don't collect to show off your collection. Right. Oh, look, I have a 50,000 figure. You know, who cares? You know, chances are you're not gonna have 50,000 figures, right? But you collect what you can, what you like, and whether it's one figure or 1,500 figures, is what you like, is who you are, and that's all that matters, right? Like, I can say, if I turn back and see my collection, I'm very happy with every figure I have, even the one-offs. You know, I'm you know, if we have more 80s stuff, dude, I'm telling you, I will buy pretty much everything. I'm very heavy into 80s stuff. You know, I used to have the Terminator you know, from the from the 80s, the first Terminator, then the 90s one. You know, my camera shuts off, and I hate this shit. And you
Mine
know,
too sometimes.
I sold them a while ago, like actually a few years ago, and then when I get them back, but the problem is that it's very pricey right now, and I don't feel like I want to spend like $600-700 for a figure, right?
Right.
And same thing happened with the Batman, with a 1989 Batman, you know. So sometimes you need to make decisions, and then when you are in a position again to get the figures back, you need to face the reality that are going to be very pricey, and you need to say, okay, if I'm going to get this one, I'm not going to get maybe a couple figures that I can actually review for you guys, you know. And the difference, I guess, I'm a collector, obviously, but at the same time I review figures, right? So for me it's difficult sometimes because, you know, I want to show you guys the figures so you guys can see it as soon as possible, but at the same time, you know, I'm not gonna, chances are that I may not keep that figure if it's, you know, if it's like a marble or especially marble. I will say chances are I'm not gonna keep it, even though I like it. And so many times when I got the figure in hand, it was difficult for me to part ways because I wanted to really keep it, you know. But you need to make decisions. I'm like, you know what, if I keep this one, I'm already pretty much taking away this budget for the next figure that I can review. So I'm sorry, you know, it's hard. It's really hard because this is my hobby as well. So and that's one of the reasons why I decided not to get any association with any Hong Kong reseller, right? Even though I get my figures day one and I pay the price like you guys, but I bargain a lot. So it's not like the first one that comes with $500 tag. Oh yeah, I'll get it. No,
Right, they go, hey, go buy it, guys.
I negotiate heavily with different people. Like I have like 3-4 different people that I talk to, try to get the best possible price because I'm paying the price that you guys are paying pretty much, you know. So those are the things that people don't see, that, you know. But at the same time, when you get the figure in hand, you feel like, shit, this is so freaking good. Like the Iron Man, that was so freaking good, man. And I'm like, but I can't. I mean, it looks amazing, but I can't keep it. You know, it is those are the
Send it my way. Now, see, there's my problem because I want those, and I'll explain. But Gary Ann, real quick, with $5 super chat. Thank you so much, my man. He says, awesome discussion. I wanted add that another factor in addition to rising prices is the challenge of managing space.
Great point.
You're very, very true on that, very Gary, true. And I do appreciate the super chat, brother. It's very true. Like that's kind of what was happening with me as well, where I'm like, well, you know, and on top of the fact that, you know, I have, I do the videos, for X06 for Star Trek. So that's what I do. So I have every Star Trek release, and I will have every Star Trek release. So I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going to be over that threshold of, you know, that one is different for me in that respect, but it's still space. So I had to factor that into hobby as well. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't have room for all of this. You know, I had 11 Spider-Mans, guys. Well, they're mostly all sold. I have a few left, but you know, and it's not that I don't like Spider-Man. Obviously, I wouldn't have bought freaking a dozen of them, but it just comes down to that point where I'm like, I need to curate my collection, right? Because you can't. You're gonna run out of it eventually, right? Because as I said earlier, I don't plan on stop collecting. So I feel like it's always going to, you know what I mean? It's going to keep progressing as the years go by, as it already has happened, you know, over the years for me. So you have to, space is definitely a huge thing. And as what Dante, you're saying, you know, if you're doing reviews and, you know, every figure's pretty awesome, but you're like, I can't keep everything.
Right.
And that's okay.
And it is okay. And another thing is when you know, not only managing space in terms of your figures, right? Where you're going to store your figures, but also the boxes, my friends. Don't forget about the boxes.
I was thinking.
You have the brown keepers. You have the, you know, that shit takes space. You know,
can we start a campaign with that? Can we do this? We got 140 people in here. Can we start a no box campaign? Can we just start throwing this shit away?
Please.
Like, and that way we just sell them, right? Because look, and if I'm going to sell my Han and Chewie right now and I say no box, people are still going to buy it. Let's get rid of the boxes. We don't need boxes.
But everybody's got to do it.
Everybody's got to do it in the collecting community.
We all have to agree.
Everybody's
Yes.
got to just do it.
Well, yes and no, and this is the reason why. Unfortunately, I'm all for throwing away the boxes. Let me tell you that. The problem is that that might decrease the value of the figure, right? Even though
It
the figure
shouldn't.
it shouldn't, because the figure is what it counts, right? If the figure is perfect condition with the plastic and everything, it's literally new. Oh, but there's no box. That no box thing is gonna lower the
It's a
value
big
a
deal.
little bit. Not like I'm saying like $500 less, but it's
Unless
gonna
we
lower
start
the
a
value.
union today.
Right, we'd all have
And
to
then
do
we
it.
start
Right
something
now.
because, I mean,
Or
but
unionizing.
again, at the same time, there are people that collect because they want to keep the figure in the boxes too, and that's
Right.
fine as well. People like to have again there is no right or wrong way of collecting. Whether you like to put your figure on the box behind it or whether you want to have your figure in box without taking it out, it's fine as well. Like those are the things that it's personal preference, right? We need to respect that. But yeah, not only the space for the figure but the space for the boxes. So one thing that I'm gonna do once I get my module cases is, first of all, I'm gonna get some razors so I can just have the figures in rows, and try to take away the bases, because the display bases also take space,
Right.
and I learned that, so I only have a few figures with no base, especially like Venom or Thanos, right? The bigger figures, Hulk, because those bases are huge, take space. Now I can fit 5 figures in that little shelf. Before it was just only 2, if that, because of the huge base. So those are the things that you need to kind of play around with it. If you need a base, use it. If you don't need it, try to manage, because chances are you might be able to fit another figure there.
Well, and Anthony, like you said too, I'm not ever planning to sell, but we all have to realize life happens, and you just never know if you're ever going to have to get out. So I always stress to people, even though they take up a lot of space, save your art boxes, save the shippers, because it's like they just slide right in. I don't get why people throw the shippers away but keep the art boxes. Save that in case you ever have to just ship it out. It's weird, but collectors like to have those shipper boxes, but it's also just a lot easier to ship it out. Like I said, it's just, you have the box, it's already there. But yeah, it's as much of a pain as it is, try to save those, because if you ever do have to get out, it's just going to help you retain a lot of the value.
Oh yeah,
Dante, as you,
it's true. It is true. Mario, hey, by the way, Mario, what is going on? He was supposed to be here tonight, but he had prior engagements. But he even said, when life happens and you can get more with the box, you're gonna be kicking yourself throwing that art box away. And I know.
I don't mind
when
buying
I didn't know
figures.
better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
But
and
now
I
I
don't
do.
mind buying figures loose, but I'll still keep an eye out for a box if I can find one after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just, in an ideal world is what I'm saying. It'd be really cool if
Yes, I
every
agree.
collector was just like, you know what? We don't need these things.
That's why we all have to do it though, because otherwise some people,
Yeah, but there's
if we don't all
eBay
do it,
people. There's people that don't
Right.
watch YouTube. There's people that aren't in Facebook groups. There's, it's that difficult, right? It's that difficult, man. So it sucks. It's unfortunate that it is what it is, man. But no, you're right though. You're right. It's and I see a lot of people in the chat saying the same thing. That it's difficult. Some people like the boxes more than their figures sometimes, or I can't justify throwing away a box for a $300 item.
right?
It's those
Imagine-
little things like that.
Imagine you want to sell your Han and Chewie 2-pack and you throw away the box. You know how much lower how much money you're gonna lose just because of the box?
Oh,
At
yeah.
least $200 less. And $200 is $200, my friend. Easily. And that's another thing, right? Even if it's like with plastic, and because they're gonna say, okay, where do you store the figure if you say you never display it? Just for example, right? What are you gonna say? Oh, I'll put it in a shoebox, in a climate control environment.
Listen,
You
you
know?
want to talk about shoe boxes? All right, I got my Han Solo. Where the hell is this guy? New Hope Han Solo in a shoebox. I don't have a box for this
Dude, I
Han
was just playing
Solo.
around, man. I didn't know that was a real
No,
life
that was the
event.
thing. It was complete. All right, and listen. This was a while back,
Okay.
so I think he wanted at the time like $350 or something. Because he wasn't super high yet though. Remember, this
Right.
was just a little while back. And I got him to do 250, bro. I was like, you can send him in a shoebox.
I know.
Well, I didn't know he was gonna send it in a shoebox, but my point was that whole purpose right there. I was like, yo, you don't have a box, bro. Fuck out of here. 250. He's like, all right. And then I got it, and he came in a little shoebox. Everything's complete, and no problems. But you see, even I had that mentality where I was like, yo, let me have a freaking, you know what I mean?
I did not know better. I did not know better. I have a confession to make, though. It was on one other stream I was on where Ben Thomas said, why don't you just put, because I was complaining about storage. He was like, why don't you just put the art boxes back in the shipper box and they'll take up that same space? I was like, that's pretty doggone smart. And why didn't I think of that? So now I've consolidated some space now. So thank you, Ben.
No, it's true.
You know what I used to do years ago when I started collecting? I used to take away the art box and kind of like put it organized. I was a bit crazy, but I just kind of put it in a shelf, like in order of brand, right, or line, right? For example, Age of Ultron, then New Hope, and then the DXs, and then the shipper boxes. I used to take them apart and flat them up, and then just put it on top and put some tape on it or whatever. But then I realized this is stupid because now I have space for the boxes that are all flat, right? I need space for that. And plus the already space that I'm using for those art boxes. So you know what? I'm just going to put it all inside the boxes. Just put a little label, make it, and that's what I do. That's what actually how I have it right now. So all the boxes are facing like bottom, and I put a little label says, Thor, whatever. So if I ever need something, I just go. But the problem is because I get stuff from Hong Kong, they don't come with brown shippers, right?
Sometimes
they come with the art box only, and obviously they put some a random or plain box or whatever. But sometimes it's very sometimes I just destroy those boxes and just keep the art box, and I have to put it somewhere in my little office here. So now I have no space, and like shit, I have to put it now in the basement. But now I have to get the boxes, and I kind of regret sometimes when I throw away those boxes, because I sometimes you get excited, you don't think about it, right? Especially if you're gonna keep them. But now what I'm doing is I actually order some boxes in Amazon, so I try to put 2 figures in one box and just put a label, like for example Thor and Iron Man, right? Boom, goes in the basement. I put some bubble wrap and all that, so just protect it, just because I want to make sure that there's nothing happen to those art boxes, because there's no brown shippers, obviously. But again, it takes space. The more figures you get, the more space it's gonna take, not only in your cabinets but also storage.
I'm gonna tell you one thing that I do. I have everything under my bed, like Tetris style, right? Does this have a shipper? No. Okay, I can fit more this way. Does this have shippers? Okay, and I make a little Tetris box underneath my bed, dude. And I tell you one thing, man.
Your bed? Like, how high is your bed now?
I can fit about 3 boxes underneath.
My God.
Yeah.
Like two shipper boxes, and then like an unshipper box, right? Just the art box. But it's crazy for me because after getting rid of some Marvel, I'm like, all right, I got some space down here. Because I'm just like, where the hell am I gonna put this shit? You know what I mean? It's unfortunate. There's a huge problem with that shit. So, and no, 808 Michigan Jedi. I was wondering I missed your chat, bro. I saw it, but said I should do like a giveaway or something on that shoebox. What did you say? I'm trying to find your chat, bro. But I threw that shit away, bro. There ain't no, you know what I mean? It's a shoebox. I don't need the shit. So, yeah, that one's pretty damn tough, man. Only Iron Man, DX figures, and Toy Fair exclusives come in brown shippers. Big Bretta.
Cool, True that. Okay. Yeah, no, that's true. This coming, when I got the Iron Man, it came in a shipper box as well, and actually. Not quite, because the DX19 I got originally Hong Kong, then I sold it, and then I got it from Comic Concepts. It didn't come with the brown box. It was just the art box, and then with bubble wrap and those generic cardboard boxes.
Right.
So yeah, but mostly Iron Man comes with a brown shipper, even from Hong Kong. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. You know, and that's cool. Not everybody. That's the other thing. Like, I don't care about shippers. I don't really think people should. But you know, because that's the other thing, right? Where you're like, oh well, there's boxes. Oh, it doesn't have a box. I want it cheaper. And then you're like, well, hey, I don't have a shipper. And some people are like, well, I want the shipper. And I'm like, I guess, but no. Sometimes you don't have shippers, as Dante pointed out. Sometimes we do buy overseas, and oftentimes we don't get them. Carlos, real quick, with a $2 super chat, my man. He says, hello, how's everyone? We're doing great this evening, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Anthony has an escalator to get up on his bed. I would, man. That would be awesome. But no,
it's more like a bang bed.
Right. No, I have a you know, I don't know. What the hell is it damn called?
Boxes?
How do you whatever you use to hold up your bed, like the frame.
Oh,
you know, the frame's kind of tall. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, well, this is where the boxes are gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So, Doc Smizzle, my dude, what's going on, man? He says, why would cardboard attract bugs unless it became damp? Genuine question. Well, I think a lot of bugs like to hide in cardboard, and I don't know why.
It's dark in there.
Right. And that's why you need to bubble wrap your figures. Like, that's what I do. When I put it in the basement, I bubble wrap all the boxes, and I put it inside the cardboard. You know, usually generic cardboard, right? But if when it comes, let's say if it comes with the actual, the regular, you know, brown shipper, right? Those I don't bubble wrap. But the ones that I get without the brown shippers, I bubble wrap and then put it inside another box, you know, just to protect it.
Right, and that's a big thing, that the shipper box protects the art box too. So just another reason to keep it. But I don't think it should affect the value of the.
Nah, for the most part, I haven't ran into too many people, but I've had a couple people throughout the years.
Yeah,
like, hey.
It's more so for the seller, I would say, just because it's so easy to just wrap it up and go ship it out. Like, you don't have to search for another box or fit it somewhere or anything like that.
That was my problem selling some of these Spider-Mans that I got, because some of them I did get overseas, you know, and I'm like, shit, dude, I need to get some more boxes. You know what I mean? I actually just shipped, the hell did I ship out today? I shipped out, I think, Spider-Man something. I don't remember what Spider-Man I shipped out, and I had a Avengers 3 Star-Lord box. I've never even owned an Avengers 3 Star-Lord, but I have the shipper. So it's like, well, that's what it's going in, you know. Real quick, Ashley Chase, just so I can get the super chat here for $8, my man. He says, sorry, 6Go Mafia, but the boxes are a lifesaver, even more so when you move. That is a good point. That's something I'm going to dread doing, and when I move, because I got to get the hell out of here soon. And I'm like, can I just pick everything up as is and do I have to unpose everything, put it all back in the box, and like, that's gonna take me like a month, dude. I just did that shit with Spider-Man. It took me like 4 days. It really did.
That's stressful.
I was like making sure everything was put back the right way. Of course, I'm selling it, so maybe with mine I wouldn't be so. Yeah, I'd be like, whatever, just get it in the box. But you know, then taking pictures and like, pain in the ass, bro. Pain in the ass. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Graham.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, my situation, it's a mess. So I have like this little finished area, and then the back is unfinished. So anything that I have a shipper box for, it's in the back, you know, and it's just on like a plywood shelf. So definitely helps keep the art boxes protected. Anything that I got that didn't have a shipper box is right over here in a finished closet, and it's just kind of nicely on a shelf. But yeah, it takes up space. And then I keep all of the boxes that they come in, whether they're double boxed or they didn't have a shipper. I have those sitting back there, and then like all the shipping material in case I got to ship something out, and it's like a mess, and the wife's always yelling at me about it. But it's like a big deal though, because yeah, you can just easily protect something or put something in a box or ship it out. But I get it, like if you don't have a lot of space, it's a tough decision to keep the shippers or the art boxes. And I mean, I don't think it's worth it to get a separate storage unit just to keep that stuff in, but I know some people do it. But I don't know, I couldn't recommend that. It just seems like a money pit to me.
Yeah,
and
unless
look at this, hold on.
Oh, Dante's gonna show us something. You got them kind of up on the top shelf there.
Ooh.
Hey, that
There's
works.
the horror guys.
It works though.
That works. You've got it kind of out of the way, right? So to speak, it's like kind of under the bed.
Right.
Totally really quick says, anyone do anything with the art cards inside? I feel like they would look nice on the wall, although I haven't done anything with mine, but tempted. I was suggesting to other people, if you're into, meeting the actors and things of that nature, get those signed.
That'd be cool.
You could use those and kind of have those like maybe in your TTOF or something, or on the wall, or frame it, because it's their figure on the the slip cover. So, because some people are like, well, I'd have them sign the base, but the base is kind of, awkward, or you can't see it, or so that's something that you can consider doing as well. That's
a good idea.
Yeah. And real quick, I got another super chat here from Chris C. My man, thank you. $5 super chat says, I'm boxing up my collection for a move as I'm watching. It's a nightmare. Yeah, dude, I do not envy you, man. Because I'm going to have to do this next year. And I'm like, again, what the hell am I going to do? What am I going to do? So, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, we have to just, like Graham and everybody's saying, we have to just kind of figure out where to put these things, right? Where do you, because I mean, all right, listen, how many people in the chat have boxes out of control? Like, let me know in the chat. Like, do you have some in the hallway? I've got some in the hallway. I do. I'm not going to lie. And I was like, shit, where am I going to put these? Statues. Dude, I got like a bunch of Mythos statues. I got a quarter scale premium format Vader that you can't see right here. I got my quarter scale Vader hot toy. I got my Grogu. Like, dude, these boxes are nightmares. Nightmares, dude. So I don't know. Dante, you have the same Grogu. That's a big box.
It is. It's in the basement, obviously. But I have more boxes though. Like I have the Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have more in here.
Oh yeah.
those
Mary
things are
definitely has
addictive.
boxes out of control. 2 closets
things are
full of them.
addictive.
AZ Figs in a 600 square foot apartment. Boxes are out of control. Yeah, everyone raises hand. Yeah, dude, like it's.
And
We know, right?
You know
Stack
what's
them up
funny?
as a coffee table or something, or a footrest.
Okay, so now do you know what is on top of? Okay, you see this box right here, right? So this here is the butt pot. So I have the butt pot. I have this figure here,
See?
and this is
You made
what
an
I
end
put on the
table.
Exactly. So to cover it, I'm just gonna put the pillow here, so it doesn't look like too horrible, you know.
Dude.
But behind the cockpit, I have more boxes, and then I have this. This I used to store my
Oh, your accessories and stuff.
I have that too.
This is new, right? I have a bunch of my older closet that I have by my dining room. I have like a coat closet, and on top I have shelves. So I have everything like this stuck up with all the accessories. So that's another thing. So accessories as well take space.
Dude, that's a good idea, because you know what I do? I have like a couple of like, clear little tote, Tupperware kind of tote containers, those storage containers. And they're just full of Ziploc bags, full of each Ziploc bag is a figure with all their shit in it. You know what I mean? And then it's kind of a nightmare. I write on it with a Sharpie. Right. So I know what, but then I I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like just ransacking trying to find it. But like, that's a good idea too, though. These tackle boxes, because you do get to a point where you're like, I have too much, because there's like 100 Star Wars Ziploc bags in there, and sometimes you want to repose or whatever. It's it can. And then that's funny, man, because my light here that you can't see, I did the same. Or recently, I had I don't know if you guys remember, but I had all my Mythos statues kind of like right here. I did the same shit, bro. I was like, damn, I can use about 12 Hot Toy boxes, elevate them. I put a black sheet over. I had all my statues up there, and I was like, all right.
Instant.
Sometimes you got to just be, creative with, how you can repurpose things, right?
Big brain thinking right there.
No, you have to. You have to sometimes. Fishing tackle boxes are useful to hold accessories. Yeah, man. JB Collection in the house. What's going on, JB? She said, just a quick question. You guys think we're getting a reissue of Obi-Wan or Sith Anakin? You know, let's talk about that, shall we? I mean, let me... Actually, Dante, why don't you take over from it? Because I gotta get up for a second. Well, what do you guys think about that? And I'll be right back.
If they're gonna reissue Obi-Wan Sith Anakin, that's a good question. I don't think they're gonna reissue it. I think we're gonna see new figures from the Obi-Wan show. No brainer. I mean, we're gonna get at least a couple of Obi-Wans, at least a couple. We're gonna get at least a couple of Vaders. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 versions, but I think 2 will be it. And on top of that, we might get the Clone Wars, the Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan and Anakin, because it was shown in the show as well. So those are the figures. I don't think they're gonna reissue just yet, unless it is the anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, which I don't know when that is.
Was that 05?
5, right? So maybe we still have a few more years to go. It will be 20-year anniversary. Damn.
Right. That's crazy.
Wow.
So damn, yeah. So maybe then we can see those reissues or those 2.0 type of things, right? But I still believe that the Darkside Anakin, the one that came with that cool base, if they ever reissue that or do a 2.0, maybe it's not gonna come with that. It's gonna come with something else. You know, because that's what they've been doing. I'm guessing.
I want to agree with that. But then they gave us Bespin and Luke, and they gave us that sideshow exclusive Darth Vader helmet with Luke in the head. And I for sure was, you know, because I knew this shit was coming. And I was like, and I was talking to Mario, I think, too, El Profesoro, and I was like, there's no way they're going to give us the exclusive head, you know, because I was part of, you know, and they did. But
they did. But look what they took away, though.
They did take away the weather vein.
Right. And
only gave us one figure.
One figure, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, if they, you know, because that
would be
base
the thing
exclusively, right? They're probably gonna add another base. Maybe they give us a bigger base. Maybe like the Arama like Desi did with the high ground, you know, with the rocks and
I like that. Yeah,
Desi
made some cool
shit. It could be even better. It could be even better, actually, right?
Well, I think you know, for the most part, you're right. Like, you know, but I don't think. I guess to answer your question, I don't think we're gonna see reissues. I think we're just gonna see new Obi-Wan series figures. And you know, I've been eyeballing this shit. I watched all 6 episodes, right, every week, and you can't help this, right? If you watch Star Wars, you watch Marvel, whatever. I know you guys in the chat probably do the same exact thing. Every week, I was like, "That's a hot toy. That's a hot toy. That's gonna be a hot toy," you know. And Obi-Wan wore 3 outfits throughout the show, realistically. Up until the last episode, he wore, which is pretty much the mythos, the sideshow mythos Obi-Wan. And people are losing their minds all of a sudden wanting to buy that figure. And I'm like, hey, wait.
Wait.
Yeah, not that
yes,
figure.
you may wait 1.5 years, but that's probably going to be happening. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we'll get 3 Obi-Wans. Obviously, at the bare minimum, we're getting 1. But with Anakin, let me ask you guys this. So I was looking at some stuff, and I said, do you remember in the Obi-Wan show, there was a scene kind of, I don't remember if it was the first or second episode. I think it was the second episode where Vader, you know, he's sitting there and you see his face and then the helmet comes down and goes onto his head, right? That's the scene I'm talking about here. And I'm thinking that we'll get a Vader just like that, right? And so his sculpt is attached, you know, with part of the breather there. That's the figure. And then we get a top Vader helmet that can just attach or remove, and then we have another top Vader that has a you know, his right side or whatever broken, so you have 2 of these that you can swap or just leave them off and have the face. Do you think that's the way to go, or do you think they're going to give us like a clean version and then a battle damaged version? You think they're going to double dip?
I think what they need to make, I think they're gonna double dip. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna give us a clean version by itself, like a regular version, and I think we're gonna get the first DX Vader, and I have a really good feelings that we're gonna get a DX, and they probably gonna give us that because remember they did a quarter scale Vader, right? the color scale Vader without fully
I
unmasked.
got him right,
It has-
right there.
Right.
Can't
So
see
they
him, but
can
he's
do
right there.
that. They can do that in 1/6 scale, and put the helmet on Vader, right? With the Hayden Christensen's likeness. And on top of that, I have a feeling that they can include the chest piece broken, right? And the battle damage helmet, right? If you want to go further, you want to go kind of like what they did with Batman, for example, to give you another package with the throne, with the hologram of Palpatine, and battle damage, and with they can actually
You think we get a Vader with the throne?
Dude, I
Shit.
think
Man.
they can do maybe 3 or 2 versions of Vader, and everyone is more like economic packages, right? You get the plain one, which is Vader by itself, no clean version like the one they show in the celebration. They do a
Right.
DX version or deluxe version, or maybe DX, all of them DX, and you get Vader, without the helmet, with the battle damage piece, and then the chest piece. That's it, right? And the holograms, and then you get the extra DX or whatever you want to label it.
You want to talk
Every-
old school
everything-
DX, right? Let's get the figure
All
and put on
DX,
all the pieces and
wire
like
cape,
do all-
probably, either wire cape or the battle damage cape. You see
are
when
those
when
days
the
gone
final
though,
skins,
bro?
That's what I was
Dude.
thinking.
it is at this point, if they do that, I guarantee you everyone will go nuts. If you get a DX version like that, I'm telling you, that's it, man. Everyone is gonna go crazy.
No,
Tell you.
there would be.
The different. I mean, they did Boba Fett with the throne. Why not Vader?
Right. No, I agree. Shiny though, real quick says there were so many figures from Book of Boba which didn't review that well, so there should be loads from Obi-Wan as well, which is bigger and better reviewed. There's still no Andrew and Toby. And you know what? I think there's an issue going on with Andrew and Toby. Because they haven't even, Hasbro hasn't even made figures yet. So I don't know what's going on with that. Now, Hot Toys did drop some cost babies recently of them, but no sculpts and stuff. So I don't know if there's you know what I'm saying? I don't know, because Hasbro would make a sculpt too, in like the Legends series and stuff. So I don't know if there's something going on that's not just Hot Toys, but keep in mind is what Dante's saying here too. Even though Book of Boba was maybe not as well received, they're still coming, right? We just got Cad Bane. We just got the actual Boba Fett from the show, and we're going to get a Cobb Vanth. And if anything else, they'll round it out with a Black Chrysanthemum. It's just the thing with Star Wars that I've noticed over the years is that when a character is introduced into the Star Wars universe, as opposed to Marvel, it doesn't matter when that time comes, they'll come eventually, right? Like, we're not going to necessarily see, oh gosh, I don't know. Let's go to the Incredible Hulk movie or something, right? An older Marvel film, and then they say, here's Abomination or something, right? I'm just throwing it at the top of my head. Whereas if Star Wars, they're like, well, this character was introduced into the Star Wars universe, it'll come at some point in our years. Does that make sense? So they can revisit, which not to say they can't revisit Marvel, but they usually don't, right? So I think we're going to see everything's bound to come at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Riva's definitely happening.
Oh yeah,
My heart is very happy with what Dante said, but my wallet is not happy with you at all, Dante. Just saying.
None of our wallets are happy, man. But it would be good. I
I'm
mean,
hoping
why
for it,
not,
though.
right?
right.
But as a collecting Padawan, I want to ask you veterans, you masters, you really think, I mean, after Dante said that, I really wanted to ask, we're going to get, because from a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to get a clean Vader, battle damage. I mean, you're just printing money at that point. You think that's really what they're going to do?
I don't see any reason why they couldn't, right? Because if you look at how toy manufacturing works, most of that's already spent in the tooling, so that they already have these, you know what I mean? So let's say bodies are the least of their concern, like true type bodies. They got billions of those. They just print those like money, So they already have a body. They have plenty of Vaders that they can reuse the molds on and make slight adjustments to. Why not?
Yeah.
Get a clean version, get a battle damage version, get like some cool DX one. Or, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Use this one, throw him in there with a throne. Fuck it. Make like 4
I
stews.
want that throne. I want the throne.
Yeah, I mean, they can actually do, you know, let's say if they don't want to do DX versions, but they just want to do a clean version and a battle damage version, they can do that as well. You know, forget
Right.
about the throne. You know, this is if they want to go like what they did with Batman. I mean, there's not like we just gonna dream in here. That's exactly what they did with Batman. You have 3 different bundles there.
Right.
You know, you get 1, 2, and 3 with everything. They can easily do that with Vader. Vader, which is super well-known character, very hot right now. Man, that's money all over the place. Without counting Obi-Wan, they can also do a DX Obi-Wan, maybe the one that you know, with the fight with Vader, you know, with some rocks, you know, like, and then the Mythos one with the camel, somebody said, or the horse, whatever that is. You know, they can include that. I mean, they can do so many things, man. Now, the problem is, you know, what is the price tag they're gonna give us? Because yeah, we're talking
That's
about
what's
all these
scaring me.
beautiful things and helmets and this, but shit, it's gonna come with a price tag, my friend. So if you think 450 is pricey, this thing can go easily. If it's a Vader with a throne, DX, and all that,
Eddie.
easily 545.
If they're
Easily.
charging 345 for this new Thor, what is Vader gonna be?
Yeah, I know that's one of the problems that we're looking at here, and it's not to say that, you know, that Ninja Scroll, just for example, it's not to say that Marvel's not doing great. It's that they don't often pull old figures from the universe because they go off movies, right? Like as you know, oh, this was Avengers 1. This was, you know, unless they're doing like straight up reissues or something. But then that means the figure's already been released. I'm talking about just figures in general that we've seen on screen don't likely come out, versus, you know, with Star Wars, they're just like, well, there's this huge, I don't know how to explain that, but you know what I'm saying, right? They just pull stuff. Like we're just getting you know, Attack of the Clones. It's granted the 20th anniversary, and we never had any of those figures. But let's say Avengers gets to 20th anniversary, right? Then what would they put out that they haven't put out yet from the Avengers line? Is my point, right? They typically, with Star Wars, they're like, well, shit, we'll just pull from any part of that universe and just throw it out there.
So put it in this perspective, right? How many figures did we get from the Mandalorian? Shit ton of figures.
We're not done.
Yeah.
A lot. We're not done yet, right?
Yeah.
So, and yeah, we can say Mandalorian is one of the best shows so far in Star Wars, right? But Obi-Wan is, despite the critics, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible show. To me personally, I think it's 8 out of 10, solid 8. You know, so it is not definitely better than Boba Fett. We can all agree with that. Definitely better than Boba Fett. And we're talking about Obi-Wan. We're talking about Darth Vader. We're talking about Inquisitors. We're talking about Palpatine. So this is hardcore Star Wars. So you cannot just do a figure. I mean, they could have done this a long time ago. They just could have given us just one Vader, clean version, and one Obi-Wan. That's it. Thank you. Bye. You know, they didn't do nothing yet, because tell me, they're working on something bigger, I think. And we're probably gonna get a few of these releases coming, and it will be the first DX Vader, I think, if that ever happens. I really hope that that's the case, because not only figure in terms of tailoring, just think about wire cape. I can put money on it that they're gonna do wire cape for every Star Wars figure that has a cape. They doing it now more, you know, like, you know, they did with Superman, they did with Thor, the one that was just announced. They have to do it with Vader, you know. And just think about the packaging too. If it's a DX, that means the packaging is gonna be much nicer, right? With the foam and all those little, you know, bit and pieces in the box, whatever. So I think we're gonna be happily surprised, but at the same time, I'm very worried about the price tag, and I think that's gonna be the decisions time. You know, when you see a price tag of almost $600 for a Vader, whether you want to really have that one, unless they give us options and they give us different versions. You know, clean, battle damage, and with the throne, for example.
They could, and that begs a question too, because this kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. That with the pricing, with the price increases, we get, if we get several variations, is this a good or bad thing? Is it depending on? I think it just depends on our level of collecting, right? Because for somebody like me, I would be like, well, I would get probably all 3 of those Vaders, right? But for others, there's an option, and I guess there's an option for me too, but it's just the level of how deep do you want to go is my point, right? So do you think it's beneficial to not to say Hot Toys, because they're just going to make their money no matter what they do, but is it beneficial for collectors to have multiple versions, like we've just recently got 3 more Boba Fett's, for example, the throne, the not throne, the 2-pack, and now the recent one from his show. Granted, the throne and without is basically, it's the same figure, just different, throne and no, but that's 3 Bobas right there. Is that, does that help us as collectors to have choices, or do we feel like we must get them all? You know what I'm saying?
I think it helps us as collectors because we have more choices to choose from. I don't see how that helps Hot Toys as a business, because I just don't see people this day and age spending money unless you're a hardcore Boba Fett collector to buy all of them. I don't know, to me there wasn't a whole lot different enough to justify getting Mandalorian Boba on the throne, or Mandalorian Boba and then Book of Boba. There are slight differences and whatnot, but I don't know. I don't think there's enough people out there that just are going to buy all these figures that look exactly like each other. But again, that's my opinion, just because I'm more, selective in that aspect, because one is good enough for me, and I'm sure there's people that love Boba Fett that are going to get them all. But if there's differences, I think Vader's different because he is such a polarizing character that we do want A New Hope. We want Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, any type of Vader we can get. I think that's a little bit different. But I don't know. I guess that's a good question. I guess I would divert to you guys on the panel and see what your thoughts were as well.
Well, I have a problem personally. Yeah. I will get every, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the decision that I've chose. That's the path that I choose to walk, is that, with Star Wars, I would like to have those. With
Vader, you can't go wrong. With Vader, you can't go wrong. I'm telling you, I have 1 Vader in my collection only, which I regret, but I only have the Return of the Jedi. That's the one. Oh, the Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back 40th.
Empire Strikes Back.
They haven't made Jedi yet.
Yes. That one. That one, yes. The Empire Strikes Back. That's the one I got, right? And I love that figure. That's the only Vader I have right now. I regret not getting the Rogue One. I regret selling my A New Hope one. So if the Obi-Wan Vader comes out, I'm definitely gonna keep the one that I have already, because that right there is a 40th anniversary, so that's special right there, right? So I guess the question is, how much will the value, how much will that affect the value of the old Vaders that you have, if indeed happen and we get a DX version, for example, right?
See, I don't think that's where I think a lot of people have issues, where I'm like, hey, I got a New Hope Vader with Tarkin, and it's not the A New Hope version. For those that don't know, the New Hope version had a voice box and he talked and he wasn't as good. Thing never worked, piece of shit, but it was cool. But the novelty wears off, and it's not, but that's my point. If you have older, I don't think it would affect it, right? I don't think Darkside Anakin, for example, is going to plummet. Now they put out this badass, amazing DX Vader. Yeah, you bet your ass Darkside's going to drop a little bit, because people are going to want to start selling that because it's got some money, and they're like, oh, look at this is amazing. It's kind of like the Shore Trooper. The Shore Trooper dropped a little bit, but it still holds its value. So I don't know. It's hard to say, right? I think certain figures they're just that upper echelon. They're like S tier rank, right? Where they're just, some are untouchable, even when they put out other figures, you know. Hey, Aries, my man, 6 scale Cantina in the chat. What is going on, brother? He said you're all insane. 10 out of 10. He's talking about Obi-Wan. Actually 1 billion out of 10, baby. Darth Vader. I'm with 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗠𝗘. Does not get any better, baby. But I love y'all, and y'all know I'm a Star Wars nutcase. Dude, my man. I know. You're spilling your coffee on this Obi-Wan. No, there's some great stuff in that show. There was absolutely some great stuff in that show, man. I loved it, man. So shout out to Aries, man, 6 scale Cantina. If you have not, his link is too in the description below. Go subscribe, man, to Aries. And everybody here, if you have not already, my friends. And before I continue, I do have a $2 super chat from Josh McCoy. Thank you, my friend, very much. Said statue prices going up. I'm thinking of going into Hot Toys. That's the other thing. Yeah, man, Prime 1's base price is going up. Everything's going up. Everything's going up. And thank you for the super chat, brother. Everything's going up. So it's hard to, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with, you know, Hot Toys, right? What do we do? You know, like I was even thinking like, is it, you know, if some people don't want to stay in Hot Toys, they can go down, you know, if you want to collect like, you know, Black Series or vintage or like Funko Pops. I know some people like those, you know, and not to say that it's a bad thing. I don't think that is. I'm just saying, I know some people are like, shit, can I really get everything that I want with these prices? But they still want to, you know, be able to retain that sense of collection or of, you know what I mean? Because that's hard. But for me, like 6 scale is like, that's where it's at. So it's too hard for me to go, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know I don't know what the future's gonna hold.
So one thing, going back to the having multiple figures, I think it's nice to have options, speaking as more of a noob. Like for people who, if you have different tiers of pricing, like you could just get the more basic version of the figure, or you could go up, you know, I think it's always better to have those choices, because if you just have that one premium price, it may discourage a lot of people just getting into it. Like, oh, I like Vader, but am I going to pay $450 for this deluxe? Don't they have anything cheaper? You know, things like that. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't have to get every single version of a figure. You know, I like to have like that one representation that means a lot to me, like whether it's Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi or Han from A New Hope. But with Vader, he's iconic. And right now I only have the Sideshow Return of the Jedi Vader, because I bought him before I knew the difference between Sideshow and Hot Toys. So I'm really like raring to get a Hot Toys Vader. So in his case, if they had one on the throne, if they had a battle damage, I'm getting that. I'm getting both of those. You know, he's one of those exceptions that I would make.
It makes sense if you have certain ones that are like just near and dear, right? Whether it's Marvel or DC, Star Wars, doesn't matter, because we're all just collectors at the end of the day. You know,
right, Batman too, I do that.
Right, if you're like, I must have this. You know, as weird as it sounds, like with Batman and Robin from Batman Forever, I want that. I want that shit, man. So I'm like, I'm gonna get it. Does it fit in my Star Wars? Of course not, but I'm gonna get it because I'm just drawn to that more than anything. And that's another thing. Like when you look at things, when I'm sure you guys notice when you're, you know, browsing, you know, Sideshow or Hot Toys sites, Facebook, figure announcement, whatever. If you notice yourself keep coming back to that figure multiple times, there's something there, right? There's this calling. You're like, damn, I can't tell you how many times, you know, I've looked at certain like Snowspeeder Luke. I knew I was going to get him anyway, but the point is, you know, I kept looking back at him, you know, over months, you know, I'd be like, oh yeah, man, like shit, yeah, he's coming soon. You know, you just keep looking, you know, whereas other things people are like, oh shit, I forgot that was coming out. Well, that month's probably not for you. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I was, looking at it, man. So I don't know. I mean, it's a good discussion, guys. Let's go ahead and we'll go through a little bit more chat here, and I think we're gonna wrap. We're about to hit that 2-hour mark. I don't want to take up too many times, and I know, you know, you guys on the East Coast, it's getting late. But Aries says, thanks for the shout out, Mafia, and hello to everyone in here, baby. Smash the like button. Always, brother, always. Do appreciate that. Smash that like, guys. Lane Kramer in the house. Better late than never. I have been a collector I have not been a collector to them originally. I'm finding myself drawn to getting some Tony Stark figures like Mech Test or Armor Up Mark V, since those are like the only time we can get a Tony Stark. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like, if there's just specific things that you're looking for like that, you know what? Hey, why not? You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, you get what you guys want, right? That's the way to go. Like, I would never say like, okay, Nightmare Batman Superman 2-pack, right? Just came out. Dante, you showed that off. It's awesome, right?
Freaking awesome.
Freaking awesome. But if you're like, hey, this figure's freaking awesome, but maybe I don't need, you don't necessarily have to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. You can look at something, and that's what's hard, because I'll look at stuff, or I'll watch one of your reviews, and I'm like, damn, that does look pretty dope.
You know what
That
the
does
problem
look
is
pretty
with that
dope.
one?
Mm.
I think because a lot of people thought that we're never gonna get Cyborg, and they start selling their Justice League, a year or two ago. They sold Flash, Wonder Woman, and all that. Now that this is coming, now with the Cyborg is coming, a lot of people try to get it back, and that's when it gets pricey, right? Because those are really difficult. I mean, I don't know if it's too hard to get, but they're a bit pricey, So I was, I had a good feeling from the beginning that we're gonna get a Cyborg at one point, and I was really actually told that they're gonna be doing the Cyborg. So that's the reason why I hold off on selling the Justice League figures. And then when it was announced, I was like super happy. And then when they say, oh, and by the way, we're gonna have a Snyder Cut, and we're gonna give you a black suit Superman and a Nightmare Batman, which I also missed out. So for me, that 2-pack was perfect. Like, really, like, it's kind of like when you wanted something and you were like trying to get it, but the prices were so high, and you said, you know what, I'm gonna keep waiting until I find the right moment, and then Hato says, boom, this is for you. I'm like, this is just perfect. I said, I don't care if I have to wait another year, and obviously I waited like whatever time I waited, so perfect timing. And again, that Superman is amazing. Wire cape, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. They're getting better and better, so that's what I'm saying. Like, Hato is improving a lot in terms of paint applications. I mean, yes, same mold for the Superman head, same mold, but better paint application on this one. Way better texture and everything. So there's a lot of improvements.
No, there is. There totally is. I know with the new coat too. Like, what the hell? Like, I didn't expect that, and that was one of the things too. I was going to buy the Nightmare Batman 2-pack, and I don't know if I still will. But I mean, I months ago, like a year ago, I bought the damn. I got it sitting right here. I bought the coat.
Same here.
I bought the coat.
Once they made another run, I'm like, oh, I'm getting it.
And then it's just like, well, what the hell? Now they have an upgraded coat. So what do I do with this one?
Is that leather? Leather, whatever.
I don't think it's leather. It's not leather, but it's something neat, and it's wired, and it's a lot better than the original Nightmare Batman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the new one is not leather or pleather. It is more like fabric, but it has a layer inside and wires, and it's nicely
really
like
good.
weathered. So
Right.
to me, it looks freaking amazing.
Love that head sculpt.
Christian Detour Collections is wondering, guys, is anyone getting the Jazzing Sand Speeder? If you're talking about the Ray Sand Speeder, I am not, but it is pretty neat. So I don't know if anybody here is getting it.
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
I know somebody I know. Gosh, I don't remember who. Who's getting the Snow Speeder? Somebody's getting the Snow Speeder.
I'd like it because I got Snow Speeder Luke.
Yeah, I don't remember who's getting it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Forgive
either.
me. Somebody's getting the Snow Speeder because I was like, what? You're really going to get it?
I think you're
So-
always.
Yeah, I don't know. It's 3 feet by 3 feet, guys.
Yeah, no. I don't have
So I don't
space.
know.
I don't have room for that.
Yeah, Hector, it doesn't feel the best, but I still got it because I thought it was better. You know what I mean? Than the previous version. But now I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do with it. So
Hard.
kind of a
bacon.
tough one. But hey guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap. It's been a good conversation. I think it's fun having everybody on this evening. Glad to be back again. Last week, my apologies. There wasn't really much, honestly, last week to even talk about though, too. And it was just kind of like, what are we gonna talk about? And not everybody was around, and so we'll have to see. Robert Marbinet, yeah, I know he said he wants to be picking that one up too, and I think Lael is as well. Yeah, there was somebody else who was getting it though. It wasn't either of them. Somebody recently. I don't remember who. Anyway, I guess that's for another day. But I was like, damn, dude, I don't know. I kind of want to get it, but 3 feet by 3 feet. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna put it. Maybe I'm not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? So
Park it outside.
Yeah, it's shit, man. But we have a lot to look forward to, man, and good and bad prices. We're gonna have to just see what happens in the coming months. I'm particularly interested in the next Star Wars reveal. I will say before we wrap, that $275 and $290 for Boba and Cad Bane is still a little high, but it's not bad. I think this is manageable.
Agreed.
Versus going a little bit higher, right? 275 especially compared to 345, but I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen next. Like what next Star Wars announcement are we going to get, and what is the price point for it, right? So we'll have to see. But before we leave, as always, thank you everybody in the chat tonight, hanging out and chatting with us. Dante, my man, it's good to have you on here as always. What do you got going on in the Manaha Collectible?
Well, thank you for the invite, man. It's been a fun show. Nice to see Graham, and nice to meet Uncommon Flex, even though I know him already, but kind of like talking now. And nice to see everyone on the chat. So we have the unboxing and review of Black Suit Superman and Nightmare Batman is up, same as Miles Morales review, which I love that figure. I might get another one, even though I said I'm not gonna get multiples, but because because it has different outfits, it deserves to have a different figure. So I might get another one. We're gonna have a show tomorrow for members only on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Most likely it's gonna be a stream, and maybe I'm gonna do it by myself, just because I it's been a while since I did something by myself, so I'm gonna try it out and see how that goes. But yeah, the time I'm not sure. It's probably gonna be between 11 a.m. or noon tomorrow, so stay tuned. And we're gonna have streams on Tuesday next week and Friday next week as well. So that's all we have. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Anthony, and enjoy your weekend.
Always, my friend. Yes, definitely be sure, if you have not already, Manaha Collectibles down there. You're road to 10K, right? That's the goal for this year.
Yeah, that's the goal. It's been tough, like it's been slow. But yeah, getting there. Just trying to concentrate and put in the content for you guys, the reviews and figures and shows. I had a couple things happening the past 2 weeks, so that's why I wasn't present. But still, videos were coming. You saw that. But yeah, it is. It's always up and down. YouTube
slow
is
and
crazy
steady,
sometimes.
right? Wins the race, is what they say.
Right.
Toku Collector. Speaking of Sean, he's here, but he is late. Sean was actually going to come on with us tonight, but scheduling. It was funny. Dante, he called me. He was like, wait a minute. Dante said you're going live at 9, and I was like, he's like, I can make it. I'm like, nah, man, 6 our time. 9 Eastern. So, but we'll have him on again as always soon. Graham, my man, thank you for coming through, man. What's going on with you, man, at the Jedi Knights Watch?
Hey, no problem. Thank you for the invite. I'm glad I could make it. I was just kind of finishing up some stuff, and I'm like, oh, sweet, I got something to do now. So
got
glad to be
with the
here.
time too, right?
Yeah,
because you're in a different one. You're 1 hour ahead of me, right?
I'm Central Time, and
Right,
I
what time
forgot.
is it?
So it's 10:11 for me.
Oh, so you're 2 hours ahead of me.
Right, but it changes because then when I change,
Soon.
I'm an hour ahead. So it's either 1 or 2.
Yeah,
So-
1 or 2, and then Dante and everybody on the East is 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
we just got to get rid of daylight savings.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it was
but anyway,
talked
sorry, go
about,
ahead.
But, no, I got a lot of cool figures in recently, so I want to do a video just kind of talking about this Batmobile that I got in that I've been wanting for a long time. Snowspeeder Luke is here. I want to review that. And I also got a New Hope Obi-Wan that I'd like to just kind of do like a flashback review as well, just kind of take a look at that a little bit more in depth. Typically, I have Monday nights, 8:30 Central Time, 6-scale symposium. I think I'm going to actually take a break from that this week and just focus on actually doing some videos on this stuff mentioned. So kind of like you said, Anthony, like I streamed last night on my channel, streamed tonight. There hasn't been a whole lot of stuff going on. I think I'm just going to kind of take Monday night off and focus on creating some videos for you guys out there. So yeah, hopefully on my quest to 3,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you haven't already, just hit that like button to this video, subscribe to my channel, as well as all these guys here on the panel, and yeah, just be a part of the community, because that's what it's all about.
That's exactly what it's all about. So definitely, yeah, 3,000, bro, you're gonna get there. It's June, it's July, middle of the year. That's good. Yeah, man. Well, you know what I'm saying, because I'm 2K almost.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was trying to get that by June, but June's been a slow month.
It's been very slow. Like Dante said too. I've noticed it too. Just very slow.
Yeah, it's been very slow. So definitely check out Graham at Jedi Knights Watch if you guys haven't already, for updates and news and streams, all that good stuff that we do. Like you said, the community, that's what it's all about, man. Try our hardest not to steer anybody wrong and just give honest, real answers here. You know, get the figure if you can afford it. Brace for impact, hold on to your butts, all that good shit, because a lot, you know, it's a shitstorm right now, man. But Uncommon Flex, man. Ty, man, it's good to have you back again, my man.
It is fantastic to be back. I am honored to be with Dante for the first time, and my buddy Graham. You know, we've been getting to know each other, so that's been a good time. So right now, like, it's been slow for me. I had some stuff going on personally that kind of kept me away a little bit. So, but there's some things in the hopper as far as some videos, like my Captain Janeway. I want to get that one out from X06. DX19, I want to do something with that as well. Also, I've been talking with Marco from 16Fix and Ben from Ben Thomas Show. Got an idea for a show that involves the community and collections. So you'll be hearing more about that soon.
All right.
Very cool.
That'll be awesome. That will be definitely awesome. I do want to say with Tully, man, I just noticed, you know, he said he's fairly new. In fact, I believe you subscribed. I think it was when I was doing a solo video he came in, man. So he's fairly new here, but the collector community is awesome here. So we thank you very much. That's what it's all about, man. Having just, you know, we can talk and we can share our thoughts, and we're just like you guys, man. Really. I mean, at the end of the day, like, we're not, I always try to say that, like, I juggle and struggle to maintain my collection at times. You know what I mean? And you have to, you know, it's not like, buy all this shit, you know, like, go here, go there. Like, I will obviously say use my Sideshow affiliate link if you guys do want to buy from Sideshow, but that's, you know, that's US official. You're not going overseas, going crazy, paying crazy prices. But we'll always try to just keep everybody steered into the right path, man. So very welcome, man. Welcome to the community, as Jedi Knights Watch says as well. And yeah, guys, I mean, shit, what's going on with me, man? Well, as you guys know, Road to 2K, that is my campaign right now. Don't know what I'm going to do when we get there. We'll probably do some kind of giveaway or something. Saturday nights, as you guys know, we do have our streams. I'll do my Mafia in the morning, which, you know, I've got my merch available. I know some of you have already purchased hats, cups, t-shirts, all that good stuff. Check that out if you guys want to help support the channel. And shit, man, tomorrow night, a Zoom meetup for channel members. So we'll fill you guys in on those details tomorrow. Ty, I know you are one as well. And Dante, even, if you want to, you know, so I'll keep you guys apprised to the details on that. And, you know, guys, shit, I think that's probably going to wrap for us, man. So that's a wrap. Yeah, you guys know I'm never good at saying goodbyes. So we'll just see you guys in the next one, right? All right, have a good night. All right, laters.